resistance and then trust and the greater trust. And then we did have a question pop in, and I'm going to read the question and then I am going to just tap into my channel and answer it. Take what resonates and leave the rest. This might not be for everybody, but hopefully it helps the person asking the question, and then also maybe other people will resonate with this same question. So the question is about trust, and it says, how can adult men regain their confidence when abused by their mother? And so the context is there's so much talk in the world about male and female and the patriarchy and things like that. And then he said, I was hurt by the energy that's supposed to protect, and there was no one else there to help me. And I still have shreds of wanting to treat others the way she treated me. How do I find myself when my identity was broken before I could walk, read, write, process? So this is a beautiful question. Thank you so much for this question. Maybe other people can relate to this too. And not even just men. I think this can relate to women as well. In having an interesting relationship with their mother. So the first thing I want to say is I'm so sorry that you had to go through this. I know it's really, really challenging when you grow up in an environment and, you know, the one person that's supposed to be the protector is not there for you, or they have abusive behavior, or whatever the case may be. You know, and also there's so many deeper layers than this, you know, like, I'm so sorry, and also I want to help you understand like how you can support yourself in this journey, right? And so something to really understand is, and this comes over time, so this is not gonna just like happen right away, but I think when we continue to connect into ourself and our own support and our own trust and our own process, we can start to have compassion for others around us that may have their own stories and their own experiences, and knowing that people are generally doing the best they know how to do from their own embodiment, from their own lived experience. And a lot of times, something I've noticed in my generational lines and in relationship generational lines and things like that is like, ultimately, however people are projecting what's going on inside of them is usually passed down from generations. Being in relationships with abusive partners, sometimes, you know, maybe the partner had been abused when they were a child, you know, and so these are really things to consider, because there's so much more to the story than just that projection of their wounds. So when we start to like really bring ourselves back to our own body and taking self responsibility, and of course, I'm not saying this behavior is okay or discrediting like the pain that it caused. And also, we come into a place of compassion for each human's journey, and acceptance for each human's journey and where they're at in their journey. And knowing and understanding that ultimately they are doing the best they can from their own wisdom and from what they were taught and what they were shown and what they probably went through in their lifetime and generations. And so it's really important to first remember this. First, have compassion for ourselves, because I think when we invite in compassion for ourselves, like everything can soften. And then an acceptance and a compassion for the other people that have maybe caused us pain or challenges in our lifetime. So that's kind of like the first thing. You know, there can be a sense of forgiveness, a deep sense of love and compassion for self and for the other people when we have these mother and father wounds. Just really showing up with compassion. And then, okay, I'm going to just look at the context of the question again. So, regaining their confidence when abused by the mother. Okay. So then that's kind of like the first little piece. The second little piece is, I would really love to invite in the reconnection with the earth and the connection with Mama Gaia and the earth and Sophia and the nourishment that she provides, and knowing that even though our human, biological, adopted, whatever parent had this trauma they were working through, or these challenges or these issues that cause us pain, it's that when we connect back into the earth and we connect into Christ Sophia, that we know we can actually never be abandoned, we can never be betrayed, and we are always loved and always supported. Sometimes this is challenging because we want it like more in the physical, we want that like human form, but it's really important to continue to come back to the true mother, the true mother. And I think this is where there are a lot of, this is a big topic, and I think, thank you for bringing this forward, because I think this is true for a lot of men out there, and probably some women, but the collective mother wound is so, so, so deep. And we really need to just continue to reconnect with our true mother, Mama Gaia, Christ Sophia. Sophia, like the mother that sees us in everything, that shows up in everything, that holds us through everything, that loves us through everything. And when we can connect into her energy, we can feel that sense of nourishment. We can feel that sense of being received, of receiving. And so this is an internal journey. And this is challenging because we want the external validation. We want that from our birth mother or our adopted mother, and sometimes they can't give it to us because they can only do as far as they've taken themselves, and so we want to really come into our connection with Mama Gaia and Christ Sophia, and knowing that we're always loved and we're always accepted exactly as we are. And so we continue to come back into our body and doing the internal work and going through the shadows and being with the pain and being with the grief, really allowing space for the grief to be present and for the tears or whatever emotions want to come through, the anger, the rage, as long as we're expressing in a way that's not harming others. And just really being with that and feeling it. And then coming into the root of the layers, because ultimately people come in our lives and they really activate and trigger such deeper wounds. My last relationship really triggered my abandonment wound when he left and we separated. But it wasn't him abandoning me. It was such a deeper wound. And then coming to this place of like, oh my gosh, like the true mother and father love me so much, I could never be abandoned. And it's still like years later, it's like I know it and I've embodied it, but I'm not like perfect at it. This is a journey. This is a lifelong journey. And so the more we can continue to establish that connection and that trust and that connection in ourselves, then the more we can really step into who we are. And this could be an identity shift in itself. Really, we're not identifying with that version of ourselves anymore. We're stepping into like, who are we? Who are we in our connection with Sophia and our connection with Earth? Have the trees support you, have the plants support you, and who am I? And taking it as an opportunity to really establish the new beginning of the self, and the new identity, and allowing that part of yourself to be awakened. So we continue to come more into our body, feeling, allowing ourselves to feel the layers releasing, trusting in our connection, breathing with the earth, trusting in our connection with Sophia, the true mother, and then allowing ourselves to express from that place, using our voice, using our song, using our dance. And like I said, this is a journey of a lifetime or many lifetimes sometimes. It's not, it's okay to like not, be the best at it right away. It's okay to still be figuring it out. We build more resilience in this, and so it's like really finding things that bring us joy, letting the joy take up space, letting the pleasure take up space. How can I co create with this world today, with life, with nature? My creative channel. Let these emotions be channeled into creativity or expression, however they want to be. Maybe bringing your hands to the body. Anybody that's watching this, just bringing your hands to the body. My heart is my safe space in my body. So you've probably noticed my place of joy and my place of love, and I feel the depths of the grief. And also it's like you've probably seen my hands on my heart pretty much the whole call, and it feels good to me to have my hands here supporting me. So find a place, feel your body. I have a body. It's sometimes that can be really nice and really nourishing. Maybe it's on your belly or your root or your legs or your hips or your face, just being with yourself and taking a moment and having some compassion and knowing it's all perfect and you did nothing wrong. And even though you might not agree with behaviors of other people, it's like there is a path and there is a deeper understanding here. And that journey is inward. And the invitation is just to continue to connect with the self, to continue to trust, to listen to your body, to explore with nature, to co-create with nature, and to really receive the nourishment from the nature. All right, everybody. Let's just take a couple breaths together to close this out. So we'll take a deep breath in together. Let it all out. Send it back to Gaia. Again, deep breath in, breathing in from the earth. And exhaling, breathing out. And anytime you need, you can use those breaths to reestablish your connection with the earth. Feel yourself rooted. Establish that reciprocity as you breathe in from her and breathe out to her. I hope this was supportive for everybody watching. I would love to hear in the comments your thoughts and reflections, and if there's any more questions, and I will see you next week.